And on the tubes today, I'm going to be changing the oil in my 2007 Toyota Camry V6 XLE model. I'm going to be showing you what tools you need, the steps that I take. They may not be the same as yours, hopefully the same safety steps. The first thing you do is put it on a flat surface. They say try not to put it in your driveway because naturally there's a slant because of water. What I did was I put a brick behind it because it's a front wheel drive vehicle. Okay? Put a brick behind it. You could buy something, they call them chalks. Chalk, sorry. Oh, by the way, JK18 is here. Why? Because he can. And if the car falls, at least he's able to call somebody who gives a fuck. Flag. So anyway, no, we're going to try to make this as serious as possible now that you, So anyway, the car is a front-wheel drive car. So when you jack up the car and the wheels are free, great, it's locked by the transmission. But what happens with the back? If you don't put something back there, or if you do not engage the parking brake, the car will literally probably roll right off of the jack, and you have more of a problem. Now, if it does roll off, let's just say it should hit the front tires. It's in the lock position. It'll skid and it'll stop, but you might do damage. And also, if the car's 18 inches in the air, it will fall off and probably damage the front, which is usually either the transmission and or radiator.
Probably the bumper.
Or the bumper. It will do damage. But, if you like to see that kind of stuff, you could Google that on YouTube yourself. That hopefully this won't be happening here. So you pull the car up, first step. Second step is you put your parking brake down as much as it could go. If it snaps, well then go to Toyota and get it fixed. And while you're there, get the oil changed. Okay? If you do not own anything to put behind the tire, something of that substance or lividity, it's for lividity? Is that the word? No, not the word.
I don't even know what you're trying to say. I try to translate through this.
You want to put some
words that just don't translate.
Right. So you want to put that back. So even though the parking brake is on and it shouldn't go nowhere. So now the next step is to find underneath the car, in your book, it states that there is a cross member somewhere right around here, straight down. I will try my best to get it when I get on the floor, but it pretty much goes like this, dips down, and you could jack up the whole front of the car. The rear actually has one. We don't need to do that today. And that's going to be it right now. I will talk to you as much as I can during this process. Jay will be making other videos about this process, and hopefully at the end you could feel comfortable enough changing it yourself with the right tools and the right jacks and the right jack poundage, because this car is 3,800 pounds. So you want the right jack. And then we're going to do jack stands. I'm going to show you everything. So stay tuned. The car's about 2 feet off the ground. Here's the jack that I'm using that I've had forever. Craftsman 3.5 ton. And I got jack stands. I don't like them on this kind of car because they're not in a sedan. There's those jack-up points, which is like the pieces of metal that are flat. So it's not really on something. You should really put them on these frames. So here's the oil pan. Okay, here's the nut right there. It's probably a 12 millimeter. Here's the filter. Jay says it's just like my Corvette, where you go to drop this canister. There's going to be a couple of ounces of oil, and you replace it and put it back. So there's two types of tools to remove this. One would be a socket, which I'm hoping would work. And two, you see these grooves right here? You would actually get a oil filter removal tool. Ow, that's hot. Oil filter removal tool, and that would stop. And if you really can, I'm just noticing because the car's up higher, there's a little wing nut here. So you could probably, there's one right here too. You could probably twist it with another tool. These plastic pieces don't have to come off. You do want to check it if underneath. I'm missing one on this side. Jay and I are going to replace it. See the way that moves? A little bit more than this. And I determined that this is there, and on the other side it's not right there. See? Okay. So there's the frame. there's the cross member. I personally think it's a little wonky. If you notice it, you don't have the best jack. It's kind of like a weird place. And that's it. You can inspect underneath your car as much as you can. If you don't, that's your problem. Again, jack stand there and a jack stand there. That's most important, because if the jack fails, please don't get confused with the transmission, which is that, and it looks like a whole totally different kit and caboodle nut over there. Okay, so let's get prepared. Let's put some stuff on. We got our gloves. Now let's crack this nut. This bolt is a 14 millimeter, 1/4. I'm going to try to get it here so I salvage the bolt and not burn myself. Okay, shot out like a bat out of hell. That's it draining. You know what I didn't do is, how many quarts is this black thing? Jay? How many quarts is this black thing?
I don't know.
Well, 5 is the Corvette. And this is filling.
Well, get ready to put the bolt back.
No, it might work. I don't know.
You have less because the driveway is slanted.
Put the bolt back. Oh, the wind! That's a fail. Give me those white
That
things.
You can't help. That you can't help. Oh yeah.
Well, that was nice. Now there's oil in my driveway. Now we're getting to the fill point.
Well, that's
Okay.
nothing that you can't do.
Step in a perfect world, when the wind doesn't blow the oil down your driveway, is to reinstall the nut so it stops dripping. It will always drip. You could let the car sit here for 2 months. It'll probably drip. Now, I don't have a big enough oil basin, which I probably would get to purchase 2 of them to make this go easier. So now what I got to do is get something, get a filter, lift this, and pour enough in it to go and take the filter off. Now we're going to do it on cardboard, which is corrugated. So that's the next step, which has nothing to do with being on camera, which has nothing to do with the oil change. So put the bolt, tighten it a little bit snug, and then the second part is to get rid of oil, to drop the filter, or if your basin is big enough, continue with the filter, as I'll show you next. Wrench here, I put it in, and I turned it this way, and this whole canister moves. So we're gonna see how dirty it gets, how hot this stuff really is. It's like turning real. How much oil is in here?
Half a quart, maybe?
Yeah. Set this up. Where's this thing? I'm gonna set that up. Can you see it? Yeah. All right. Just want to try to get you a live view. Oh, shit. I don't know what, like you said, what do you think this is going to do? It's going to splatter?
Well, the filter is going to just fall out along with that plug you're taking out, and it's going to splash at the can and you probably make a mess. So you can take it straight down.
I kind of loosened it enough where it's draining.
Okay, you can leave it there and let it do its thing for a while. Not going to get everything though.
We'll get enough where it shouldn't be that much heavy.
It'll be better.
Alright, I'm gonna pause this here for you guys and continue when I decide to take it down. But that's what's gonna happen. Very gingerly loosen it up, let it drain some of the excess stuff. Jay says there's about a half a quart in here, and come back after I drop it. I was able to drop it. There is the inner housing of the oil filter of the engine with just a couple of drips. We definitely had to take off the top layer of the Earl. Here's the old rubber seal housing. Here's the old filter. Here's the new filter in. 1 second. Oh, whatever. Here's the new piece, red piece. This makes a seal so your oil doesn't drip out. You put the new filter in, push it down right here. Don't worry about it wobbling, that's what it does. It's sealed. It has a spring which goes into the bottom of the engine. This is garbage. And if you notice in the box, it comes with a small seal. So I cheated. I went to YouTube, I typed in 2007 Toyota Camry V6. Jay says to do V6 because the 2.4 liter has a canister.
It has a canister instead of a cartridge.
Canister instead of a cartridge. This is a cartridge. So when I removed this piece using the wrench, this piece was actually supposed to come out separately. And that's what would drain this entire housing so it really doesn't get on you. But what it decided to do is remove the entire housing. It's not bad as long as it never leaks. And when I put it back on, it's going to get a nice, good and tight wrench. Okay, so you just very calmly take it, put it on, put some oil on this red seal. If yours is a different color, it's okay. Very calmly put it on. Try not to cross thread it. It shouldn't, it's really big. And here's his wing nuts. Tighten it by hand as much as you can. The orientation, believe it or not, is that this Toyota word was actually facing forward, if that means anything. See? Now, okay, see how my hand can't tighten it anymore? So we're going to change the orientation of the ratchet. And we're going to put it in. And it's going to be right tight. See? Watch, ready? See, now I'm going to do it off camera with two hands. Pardon. What I suggest, very calmly, whenever I have a rag, is clean up what you can so you know what was clean before, you know, dropping the oil in, so you could say, hey, was that there before? Now, you don't have to make a video, but I like to clean around the bolt. We're going to move the oil. We're going to see what oil is left. You know, you want to just clean very carefully. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just to get the oil off. It's completely irrelevant because it's dirty under here. And the next is to drop all the oil in, and we'll continue with the oil change. So this car is not that high up in the air where you need to drop it right away and decipher if there's an oil leak after. So we're probably going to leave the car the way it is. We're going to put the necessary amount. Now this V6 takes 6.4 liters. Quarts, god damn it. 6.4 quarts.
With a filter change.
With the filter. 6 even without the filter.
Right.
So what we're using today, again, this is what I'm using, is right here. No synthetic 5W30 because the cap says it, and the the car recommends it. We're going to put this entire 5 in there, and then we're going to go and put that entire 6 that makes it 6 in there, and then we're going to go and put 0.4, and we'll show you what the 0.4 is for people like you out there, just like me, who don't know what that is. So we're going to start. Now we use this little piece because for some reason, again, Toyota is such a great brand, they decided to put a piece of metal.
That's actually a baffle.
It's a baffle.
Yes, and it's there because if the engine is running and you pull the cap, it won't start spraying oil everywhere.
Right, but it stops you from doing the things you got to do.
It makes it more difficult putting a filter in. Yeah, well, you can't have your cake and eat it too, so deal with it.
So that was it. We're not going to... This is it. You don't need to see why this is going in. The car. We put 5 gallons in.
Quarts?
Quarts.
6, actually.
We put 6, but we put 5 gallons of one, and then we got
Quarts.
a single one. Quarts. I don't know why.
Quarts, gallons.
Right, figure it out. You can't buy it in gallons, so get it in quarts. Okay, we put 5 in. Then we put a whole 1 in. Then I lowered the car. When you lower the car, please make sure there's nothing around it. I was going to lower it, and Jay says, "Oh, jack stands." Oh! So the car is lowered. There's no tools around the engine. The only thing you got to be careful is if you chalk the back tire, which at this point it's low and we're talking about it, kick it out of the way because we might rotate the tires depending on what time it is. Okay, car is fully functioning. Now we're going to tell you that it takes 6.4. Okay, so Jason is going to do the math.
All right.
Because this was different.
This is very easy. Alrighty? This is 1 quart, which is 32 ounces.
Half of 32 ounces is
16. So you got 18 and 14. So right here is half.
right there is half. Now that's on this bottle.
Okay. So now we need 0.4. Half is 0.5. So we're going to pour oil out of this bottle until it's above this line, probably about somewhere in this neck of the woods. And then we'll check the dipstick. And once we're satisfied with what that reads, it should be good. You can always pour a little bit more in, but always err on the side of caution. Don't overfill the oil in your engine.
Exactly what was offered. My hand is not level, but it's level. Oh, actually, we went a little bit above. We might have to add that, but you go up to the second dimple of the dipstick. And follow the book too. Open the goddamn book and look in it. Don't just say, "Hey, what the hell?" Say, pull your dipstick out before you didn't run it yet. And there's 2 notches.
Holes?
Holes?
Bullet holes.
You want to be on the very top of the hole. Now the sun comes out. Didn't come out all day. So see that little hole? You want to be right on top. That's a full crankcase.
Right. You have your add and your full.
And that's it.
And that marking, the space between that is 1 quart.
Right.
So if it gets to that low mark, you're a quart low. That's how it's been for like ever.
That's how you change the oil. So you put the cap on, you put the dipstick on, and then now you can just turn the car. And I'll turn the car on. And I'll save you guys, let's see if it throws any awkward errors and blows the filter out the back end of the house.
Okay.
Moonroof is open. This is blinking. We'll have to hit the maintenance light. That will be part of this video.
You are going to get a little rattly depending on the age of the engine. And now he's running nice and smooth. So now we go underneath and check for leaks.
Let's check for leaks. You can see the difference in the car. Really low compared to it jacked up in the air. So there's the screw right there in the back. I don't see it dripping. Be careful of the serpentine belt. I don't see anything dripping. I actually have a better angle looking at the camera than I do the goddamn... No? You feel the pump moving in here, doing its oil. We didn't do anything else, so it would drip around here. If it wasn't satisfied, it would drip around here if we did it wrong, and then it would drip right there if that bolt was not tightened correctly. And then as time goes, you would see the drips in your driveway. Whoa, wow, wiki. So now it's time to change this annoying light after 5,000 miles. So JK18 is going to read the book, because the book tells you, again, the book tells you, don't go to your guy and say, oh, how do you do that? The book tells you, right there. Now, Jason, please tell me how to do this.
Okay, so we've checked the oil, everything's good. We started it up, checked for leaks, everything's good. The engine is still running. So we're gonna hit the display button here until we get our mileage and trip meter reading in the little window there.
There's no trip meter.
Well, just go to the mileage then.
Oh, just the main mileage?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yes. Now press the button there and make it trip A.
Trip A, maintenance required.
Okay, shut the engine off. And now we're going to hold this button down and press the ignition.
Maintenance required reset mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Complete.
That should be it.
And that's how you do it. And
It's right in the book.
And we could start the engine again to get rid of all your lights if you get nervous.
No more maintenance required.
Nope. And you should be able to hit display and go back to what you like. Now, what you do is I like the outside temp, and then you hit trip A, trip B, and the mileage of the car. That's what I like. So to wrap this video up, on page 380, this is how you check the oil. Again, it's in your book. Maybe you don't have the book. Maybe you purchased this and you don't have it, which is fine.
You can get the book online in a PDF right from Toyota.com.
Right, from Toyota.com. That's it. Jay said low, full. The middle is okay.
So anywhere within these two marks is fine. At the low level, you record low, and anything above that is too full, like it says. Let me hold the book this way. So anything in that range is okay.
And that's going to wrap up this video on how you change your oil in a 2007 through 2011 Toyota Camry V6 model. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. And thank you, JK18.